that up a little bit.
Really?
Sorry, Annie.
That's all right. Yes,
The French show, explain the French.
I do have a movie coming out in April. It's called Pass the Ammo, and...
One moment. Wait, here's the ammo. Pass the ammo.
Pass the Ammo.
You did that with Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Tim Curry. Well, that's great. I love him.
Tim's coming to dinner, actually.
Tim is coming?
Is he?
Tim Curry is coming?
I don't know. From the sound of the bell, he
Well,
must be
Monsieur
impatient.
Will, it is not often that you have a cult hero to dinner. People talk about his role as Dr. Frankenfurter in the Rocky Picture Show. Currently, he is starring in the hit revival For Me and My Gal. He not only eats curry, but he is curry. Please welcome Tim Curry.
All right. Tim Curry.
Tim Curry.
Isn't this fun?
Tim,
It's so comforting to know that there's life after Berlitz. Thank you.
Oh, so good. I've been in your family for years.
Now, Tim, I don't know if you've seen any of this dinner party. Is this,
I have, yes.
Is this pretty standard?
Oh, absolutely, wouldn't you say?
We're doing things right?
I think you're doing things beautifully, yes. I mean, it looks delicious, too.
You're not from the South.
I sure am.
Well, that's wonderful. I love to see if I could talk like that, I wouldn't have to dress up like this.
Actually, one of the best dinner party that I went to was in Arkansas when we were making this movie together, Annie and I. We went to visit some people who were working on the movie, and they lived in Williams Holler, Arkansas.
Williams Holler? Yeah.
Uh-huh. And it was like a hippie community. I mean, you wonder where all the hippies went in 1969. They went to Williams Holler, Arkansas. And they're alive and well and living without any electricity. And Annie actually cooked us dinner there.
Are you a good cook, Annie?
Oh, she's a great cook.
Well, it wasn't easy with no electricity. Of course, they didn't tell me there wasn't any electricity.
So what'd you do? Just rub two Southerners together?
No,
And they made sparks, believe me.
he had a butane stove. He'd never used it. And it was like vintage 1920. So it took about 8 hours for the chicken to get done, but we did it.
But then you had some wine, conversation. It was wonderful.
Yes, we were so loaded by the time that dinner arrived. I think
So anything would have taken. But that's good. Wasn't that don't you like the challenge of cooking on a butane stove?
Well, you see, not really. I mean, Tim and I had thought we would go out and have a nice dinner because we were tired of eating in restaurants, and he said, come on out, you can cook. You know, I have a kitchen. He didn't say no electricity, no running water. And then when we're halfway out there on this gravel road, he says, oh, and their friends coming. So I was like, friends? I thought I was cooking for us with electricity, but...
If you had a friend at dinner, you would have an elegant affair, I would imagine.
She does, yes. She's a great cook. I've been to dinner at her house, and it's real good. She burns fish. She burns fish very well.
Because there's a little bit of smoke involved, isn't there? But you know, it's so good. The taste is so wonderful.
My wife burns everything, then tries to pass it off as Cajun food.
Well, when we were doing this movie in Arkansas, we were in this hotel called the Palace Bathhouse, and we didn't have anything, you know, to cook on, and Annie was getting real kind of kitchen withdrawal. So we borrowed a toaster oven from the casting lady, and we went out fishing on this lake in Eureka Springs, and she grilled the bass in this toaster oven, and she made like sauce for it in the Mr. Coffee machine. and she cooked asparagus in my Mr. Coffee machine. We had an absolute feast there.
I had like 4 Mr. Coffees lined up and a toaster oven going.
It's like a battery of them.
See, that's what I mean. It's nice to improvise. That sounds great, doesn't it?
Now, the movie you're doing down there sounds fun. It's, well, you tell me about it. It's about evangelists that go awry?
It's about people who actually come in and hold up a religious TV station. And we're playing the Reverend Ray and Darla Porter.
You use a lot of mascara, do you?
A little bit.
Yeah, like about a ton.
Well, we actually have a clip. Annie, do you want to
clip?
You want to set up what we're going to see in the scene?
Tim and I are having an argument about, I think that I'm telling him that what's happening is that he's about to reap what he's sown.
It's heavy stuff. Heavy.
The movie's called Pass the Ammo. Let's wait and take a little look at a scene here. Annie and Tim. Watch.
I cannot believe you are cooperating with these people.
I'm trying to save lives.
Your life, Ray Porter. Perhaps this is all a message from God and He
Hey,
watching.
get that camera over there on Ray and Darla.
24 hours a day. Maybe it's time you tuned in to him.
Let's just get out of here alive. It's only 2 days' receipts. Let him take it.
Bill, move in real quiet on Ray and Darla.
I don't care about the money, Ray. But let me warn you, as I've had to consistently throughout this marriage, that if you stand with Satan, surely you will die with Satan.
Those are tough words, Ray, from a tough lady. I'd watch out if I were you.
Oh, is that good? There's a lot of people. There's a lot of things going on there. There's a lot of, everybody has a want. When you're an actor, if you give somebody a want, you want to get him. He wants the money. She wants to get out of there. And everybody was you knew everybody was doing something. Oh, that's lovely. If the movie is as interesting as that, it's going to be fabulous.
They should have shown the faith healing scene, I think. We get to faith heal in this movie. That's great.
Well, this was great timing because you started production.
You want to be whale.
You want to be what?
Do you want to be whale?
Do you believe, you know?
Well, now, you started production on this before the Jim and Tammy thing, so it's...
We did. In fact, there's a scene in the movie where I think at least two lady members of the angelic choir accused me of adultery, and the day we shot it, we went home and switched on the TV, and Jessica Hahn was on. I was extraordinary. It was like life imitating art, just to such an
It's scary when that happens.
Real scary.
You know, I saw you in 1974 at the Roxy Theater here when you did Frankenfurter and the Rocky Horror Show, and you were just terrific. Then do you? I guess everywhere you go, you sort of have to enjoy that reputation.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, we have a picture of you back in there. You go.
All right.
Do people just constantly come up and say this is a part? Because when you go to the movie now and everybody screams along, it's become almost a cult classic, I guess.
It's memorized. The movie is memorized. It's the only. I don't know of any other movie in the world.
Well, the audience have a complete script of their own. You know. I mean, what's great about it is that it's sort of become a kind of rite of passage, you know, for college kids now. I mean, it plays in all the sort of university towns, I guess. So that every year it kind of introduces another kind of generation of kids to my work, which is great, you know. I mean, it's like a calling card, which is wonderful.
New fans all the time. So now, how do they react? I went to see the other night, and Me and My Gal, and you're terrific. It's a tough workout on stage.
It is, yes. It's kind of, yes.
Isn't he divine?
He's terrific. I don't know how you do it, because you're on stage almost the whole show, working, singing, dancing. And
I got to learn to tap dance for it, which was brilliant. I'd never been able to do that.
Oh, you weren't a dancer going into that?
No, no.
So
that's been fun.
Do you have to train and stay in shape to do that stuff?
No, I mean, the show itself is just such a workout anyway. It's like 2 3/4 hours of sweat, you know.
Yeah, well, you do the Lambeth Walk, which is a big...
The Lambeth Walk, yes.
Yeah. Can you...
Well, the Lambeth Walk was, you know, became a kind of a rallying cry, you know, in the Blitz in London, because this show was first done in 1937. And it only closed in 1941 because the theatre was bombed. And George V and Queen Elizabeth, who's now the Queen Mother, came 3 or 4 times, and the Lambeth Walk became a sort of symbol of, you know, Cockney spirit during the Blitz. And it's a great song. It's like a sort of musical song, you know.
Yeah. Can you demo a little of it? Sure. Would you like to demo a little? Ron Tobin is going to help you out.
Anytime you're Lambeth way, any evening, any day, you'll find us all doing the Lambeth Walk. Oi! There's another verse.
Another verse? You want to do the other verse?
Every little Lambeth gal with her little Lambeth fowl, you'll find them all doing the Lambeth Walk. Oi! That's the second verse. Anyway.
That's an old tradition, though, isn't it? To make your guests sing for their dinner, that's an old acting tradition.
Singing for my supper.
Singing for your supper. All right, we'll take a break and come back with more of our dinner right after this.
Don't go away.
More guests.
Promotional consideration provided by Slender U, the no-pain workout salon everyone tries to copy, where customers lose inches while salon owners build their own businesses. Slender U. Call our 800 number today.
Announcing...
We're back. It's Dinner with Will. Dom DeLuise is here, Annie Potts, Tim Curry, and we're having a home-cooked dinner that Dom made, and it's really delicious. And everybody getting enough?
Yeah, I'm getting enough.
So good.
Of what?
I use more water.
Are you getting any?
Well, now that we all have, things going.
Oh, that's great. I mean, you know what I think that is? I think it's Jerry Orbach.
How do you have a feel for that? Wait till you soiled my garment here. Let's see who that could be.
A magnificent actor. Your guest is a Tony Award-winning actor.
Jerry Orbach?
Well, he always cleans his plate. He always cleans his plate. You know him as the star of the Law and Harry McGraw. He's also in the hit film Dirty Dancing.
Jerry Orbach.
He went from persona non grata to potatoes au gratin. Please welcome Jerry Orbach.
I told you. Wait a minute.
Since my wife is Italian and cooks this stuff just as good as you do, and since you said I wouldn't get here in time for anything, and since this is California, I brought some Mexican food for myself.
He brought his own dish. This man is one of the most talented men.
I told him a second ago that I truly, Jerry, have been a fan of yours. I saw you in 42nd Street in New York, and I mean, to me, Prince of the City, your role in that was just.
I saw him in Fantastics.
Fantastics.
Please,
I was gonna bring one of our two cats from New York and challenge your bird to a fight, but I thought it wouldn't be fair.
You were gonna bring a pussycat here, and then your cat would eat my bird.
Now, your wife is from Naples, so she probably gives you a good Italian cooking.
Well, her family were from Naples and from Sicily.
We'll take a taste of.
I will. I'll pass. Is this sort of a carbonara?
It's a kind of a carbonara, but there's no animal fat in it.
Right, without the cream.
Without the cream and without the bacon. It's very. Oh, he's going to taste.
You know what the difference is between pasta and spaghetti?
What is the difference between pasta and spaghetti?
About $15.
There he goes. It's not bad. It's interesting. Tasting it.
Very good.
Oh, see that?
And not too salty either.
Not too salty, right.
I'm proud of you. That's great.
Good.
You know, it's the greatest diet in the world.
What is it?
Pasta.
What they call the Mediterranean diet, or the peasant diet, which is basically pasta and vegetables, or escarole and beans, things like that.
My book is filled with those kinds of recipes.
That's terrific.
Did you do a lot of cooking yourself?
No, I don't. Only when I have to. If I'm in California, my wife's in New York, I'll cook a little bit when I'm forced to. But when I'm working, it's great because, you know, you get a huge lunch that's catered or something on the set, and then you come home so late you don't really want to eat dinner.
Yeah, that's
I find I lose weight while I'm working.
Really?
I'm sorry, darling.
No, that's not.
You want to come back or something? Now, where's the family? Did they come out here with you? Because you're
sort of back and forth, yeah. My wife's been out. I go back sometimes, you know.
And the kids?
The kids are in New York. My older one's married now, and the younger one's in college. And the older one has a band. He's a musician. A band called Urban Blight. Yeah, it's that kind of band. Yeah.
How many kids do you have?
2.
Did you find out what was causing it?
Apparently you didn't, right?
No, I have 3. But I mean, does it make you feel wonderful when you see your kids do something on their own, functioning without you?
Well, your son has
My son is on television, but not only that, I see them with older people sometimes, and they're very kind, and they act in society well, you know, and I quell. It's a Jewish word means swell with pride. I'm swelling with such pride here that
that's what causes that.
Yeah.
Well, now as a child, when you were growing up, did your parents, you know, encourage you to go into show business at all?
Strangely enough, they didn't mind it at all. They both had some ambitions towards show business. My father tried being a comic in vaudeville for a little while, and my mother was a singer, but the Depression kind of got in the way of that.
Yeah.
So when I was heading toward it, they encouraged it, which was, I guess, rather unusual.
And years on the stage, was that always the dream when you were a kid, to work on the Broadway stage in New York? Or?
It's a funny thing. It was almost backwards. I really dreamed of film. My heroes were Montgomery Clift and Brando and people like that. I was a very serious young actor, but I also sang. And I started getting jobs in musicals, and it just panned out that way.
The musical that he
And I loved
started, fantastic, is still running in New York. I mean, how many, 30 years?
1960.
1960, it's still going.
Yeah.
I mean, it must be good or something.
But I don't have a piece of it.
You should have had a piece of it.
Sure.
Well,
Now,
yeah, when I saw you at 42nd Street, you have a way of projecting to the bounces off the back wall. And you know, I always wondered, because when you work in a club and you don't have a microphone, is there a technique or a trick to really putting that voice out there? Like that?
To putting the voice out there?
You have to tighten your buns.
There was a wonderful exercise.
That's one way. That's Pavarotti said. It has no place to go. Whoa!
But for the actor, we had a wonderful exercise when I was at Northwestern that we were given an image. We were given an image of that there's a guy across the street about to jump off a rooftop, and you're going to tell him, "Don't jump." Now you've got to say it loud enough so he'll hear you. But if you scream at him, if you say, "Don't jump," he's going to get scared and fall. So we'd walk around commanding this imaginary person across the street not to jump, and we'd say, "Don't jump." And finally, when you say, "Don't jump" enough, you've got it placed and you're projecting. You know, it was like an automatic
That's great.
thing.
Yeah, so
Suppose it's a girl. Don't jump, miss. Forget it.
Anybody ever tell you you look like Burt Reynolds?
Yes, no.
we're going to take a little commercial break here. We'll be back with more dinner right after this. Don't go
An
away.
elegant dinner. Everybody eats. It's really nice.
Now the vegetables are coming out. Waiter, you're a little sluggish
the
here.
vegetable, it is very, very nice. We use only Mrs. Paul's frozen vegetables.
Now, Jerry, tell me about the show. It's terrific. The Law and Harry McGraw. How's that going along?
It's been a struggle, but we've got a new time slot now. Wednesdays at 8, and I think that...
I'm not doing nothing. I'll watch it.
Well, why don't you come on it? Never mind.
I would love to come on. You think you're like a fat, crazy, out of his mind?
What about a skinny Swedish guy? Go against type. I mean,
I don't want to do surgery just to do the show.
But I think this, we were never really a late 10 o'clock show with violence and car chases and everything. It's more of a family show, and it's a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm. And what kind of, do you do a lot of the physical stuff on it? Do you like doing that?
Well, Harry is the kind of guy who, if he hits somebody, is liable to break his hand. You know, he's not a superhero. And if there's a car chase, his car is liable to break down, you know. So once in a while we have something a little bit physical, but nothing as physical as this.
Now, you're a great pool player also, which somebody said you want on a show now. So you do crazy stuff. On what show did you play pool against Minnesota Fats?
It was on the Dick Cavett show years ago. They asked me on to shoot pool against Minnesota Fats, and
how did you feel about that?
I loved it. What happened was we played 8-ball. I broke, he missed, and I ran the table. And then he did some trick shots, and I set up sort of Mosconi's finale trick shot, and I banged it in the first time. And the funny part was, I was doing Promises, Promises at that time, and my theater was right across the street. And as I went to go to the theater, one of the stagehands said, "How did the Dick Cavett show go?" And I told him what happened. So that night, he goes into a bar, and the Cavett show is on television. So there's a whole bunch of stagehands there.
Oh, no!
And he says, 2-1 Jerry beats Fats. And they're all betting. I bet Fats doesn't make a ball. They're betting him again. Now I set up the Mosconi trick shot. He says, 5-1 Jerry makes it the first try. He said he won about $400.
So they thought it was live.
Sure.
And it was a tape show.
Yeah, and maybe Fats was setting you up for the Tonight Show so he could come back and run the table.
I'll be looking for a bigger bet, yeah.
So now, Tim, how long's... I knew it was going to be...
What's the matter?
Now we're going to get letters for
You're all chicken. You're all chicken. Go on. I don't care. Oh, somebody stole my lunch.
All right, we're going to take a commercial break while
I
Doc
wasn't
gets his
really going to
sandwich
eat
ready.
the bird.
We're coming back.
Here, I'll give you the bird.
The Will Shriner Show is brought to you in part by Extra Strength Excedrin, the headache medicine from Bristol Myers. Promotional consideration provided by...
We will now demonstrate how to work off the couch.
L.A. Law's Susan Rutan seeks thrills with Will tomorrow.
Tom, for making the dinner.
But you know, you have to go to the Pantages Theater. If you're in California, you have to go to the Pantages Theater and get the joy that this man reaps. The bill?
The bill.
He's giving us a bill.
This is,
Here, come here. Just a moment. No, sorry, just a moment. I want to give you a tip. No, that's all right. You were very good. You were very good.
Thank you, Monsieur Dame, and I will see you around town.
Wait, my napkin is all dirty.
Well, anyway, while we take time out, I want to thank Jerry Orbach for being here, The Law, and Harry McGraw on Wednesday night.
My napkin was dirty.
Tim Curry will be at the Pantages Theater. If you get a chance to see him and Me and My Gal, it's a terrific show. I recommend it. Then you'll be on tour with it. And Pass the Ammo opens with the two of you in April, and you'll be on Designing Women.
Monday nights, 9:30.
Monday nights at 9:30. Dom DeLuise will be, I guess, hanging out with a waiter for a while.
Very much
Until he gets cleaned up. Dom,
No, it's just that it was messy. The meal was messy.
you're used to
But I
it.
love French food.
Dom, thanks for being here. The cookbook is called Eat This. That's all the time we have for our show.
Goodbye.
Thank you all for joining us for this intimate, chaotic dinner here on the show. We'll see you tomorrow.
Will Schreiner's wardrobe furnished by Rick Palak. The Will Schreiner Show is a Charles Colarusso production and a Bonnie Burns production in association